to do that only for a limited amount of people, and it does not grow in size and in scope, that the amount relocated becomes half of those that migrate in. It must be controlled, it must be stopped. There are several legal and constitutional problems, though. We have the freedom to travel anywhere and settle anywhere in our country without limitation. That is a fundamental right. And you cannot, I think even the Supreme Court has said, you cannot forcibly relocate people from one area to another. There was a case in 1930 or 1940 where a mayor deported prostitutes from Manila to Davao. And at that time, the American Supreme Court, American-dominated Philippine Supreme Court already ruled that you can't do that. There's no law allowing any person under a regime to do that. And so that is a difficulty. You have to have their voluntary consent. They can get out of their shanty, they can't live there, but you cannot tell them to go to Bulacan or whatnot. They can just go on the street and wander around. It's their right. You can't force them not to walk on the streets. It's their that given right to do so. That's a problem.
Thank you. Next question.
Okay, the question I have is something that I think a lot of people just immediately throw at you the second that your name comes up. Gloria. Okay. And your supposed perception of letting her go scot-free. Because a lot of people perceive the office of the president as being something that should be used to crime fight. But if we take it on the citizen side, if I as a citizen create a movement seeking to prosecute Gloria Macapagal-Arroyo on a purely civilian judicial basis, would you stop us?
How can I stop you? Physically impossible for me to stop you.
So you will not stop any citizens movement
I can't.
from prosecuting Gloria?
It's not a question of whether I want to or not. It's a question of if I can. I can't.
Yeah, because
And I think it should stop there.
The functions of the office of the president need to be clarified to people.
Yeah,
And
I can't do that. Anybody has the right to do that.
So we as citizens have every right to go after Gloria. And you
In the
won't
same
stop
vein,
us.
as any citizen has the legitimate right to go after me, to go after any past president right now, and go after anybody, just as long as it has basis, you know.
As long as there's basis.
Yeah, and as long as it's done within proper form.
Just do it in the proper form.
Yeah.
Cool. So you won't stop me from going after her?
How can I? How can I physically stop you from going? No, how can I? I mean, analyze it very clearly. How can I? I'll give you a call which say, please stop, and then the next day it's all over the papers, the internet. I can't stop a determined person.
Thanks. That's all I need to know.
Yeah. I mean, I'm answering it very practically, rather than, you know, philosophically or politically. Can you or can you not? You can't.
Okay. The next question goes to Mao from POC, the Politics Education.
Yes, what is your agenda regarding the peace and internal security situation?
Oh, okay. That's a good question. There are very serious peace talks ongoing now, and I won't be one to disrupt it. But there are conditions that I will set. That the primacy of the Philippine Constitution and the Philippine government must be upheld at all times. We're not here negotiating in the sense of parity of insurgents and government. Far from it. That is not the case in this country. Unlike cases perhaps of Ireland, where you had an almost divided Christian and Catholic majority and minority with a little bit more parity than what we have here. The rebellion here, or the separatism here, is confined to about 4 provinces out of the 70 or more. So there is no question about the legitimate authority of the Philippine government to govern over the area. Now, addressing some grievances, fine. That can be had, but within our legal and legitimate processes. Number 3, there should always be adequate government presence in these infested areas or the affected areas. Not merely to seek to control tendencies to resort to violence, but also to be a deterrent for future groups who may seek to travel the same path. We cannot have that. And our problem is, we always cannot follow up with a strong presence to deter separatist or rebellious behavior, because we lack soldiers to do so, we lack policemen to do so. And that's an unassailable fact. Because even Malaysia, with a smaller population than us, that only has 26 million people, has 128,000 soldiers. Whereas us, with 92 million, being an archipelago of 7,000 islands, and only 120,000 soldiers. In a fractious society, prone to incidents of armed upheaval and disturbances. So I think the solution, to me, having had experience with it, is really to deter bad behavior. Now, is there a solution to Mindanao? I don't know. It's up to the Mindanaoans to determine the solution. I don't need to live alongside other people. They do. They have to learn how to live with each other. They have to learn how to work together. The only thing I can do is to help guarantee that the solutions to their problems come out of a consensus via a peaceful and a democratic process, and not out of a process of violence. Nobody can say he has the Mindanao solution. No, because the Mindanao problem is not a problem of Muslim and Christian. It's a problem of several people. It's a problem of land ownership. It's a problem also of Christians grabbing land as much as the other. It's not a Christian and Muslim problem. It is a state problem. Meaning to say, the state cannot guarantee physical peace and order in the area. I mean, I can have the most complex formulas in the world, but I'm not sure they're going to work. I'm not sure the multilateral initiatives will work, because if people don't want it to work, it won't. But if there's a government there that says, if you have differences, we'll allow you, but express it in words, not in armed violence, then probably you'll have a good start. And I'm not as ambitious as the others. I can't see that far ahead. But I can see as far as saying that if we allow people to take matters into their own hands in the area, nothing will happen. And that's as far as I'm willing to go.
All right. Ivy, you have a question? Use the mic because they cannot hear online.
Hello. You say that economic development and resolving the deficit is prime priority.
No, it is a priority.
It is a
A priority, among other things.
So, considering this, how high do you think environmental protection is in your list of priorities? Because
No, it's quite high, you know why?
Quite high.
Because for economic development to come in, you have to have adequate physical infrastructure. And as I said earlier, that climate, what was the term you used?
environmental protection.
Environmental protection is also important in the sense of protecting also physical environments for people to live. And that should be ingrained into your public infrastructure